Happy Friday, everybody. This is Todd with our daily video. Hope you're having a great week and the market's treating you well. We're going to spend a little bit of time today discussing the topic of price patterns. And we've talked about price patterns in the past, and hopefully you've got a pretty good sense of what they're doing. But one type of pattern that we talk a lot about is obviously the simple trading method and the rules for the simple trading method. So if something is, trending down and we get a little bit of a pullback and it moves down below the LL3, well, that is the pattern that we're looking for. Or if it's in an uptrend, and we get it pulling back, we look for it to move above the HH3, or the highest high of the last three. And so whether we're trading, whatever it is that we're trading, doesn't matter. What we're really looking for is that pattern that is set up. And in the market, there's all kinds of patterns that develop. And it doesn't matter if we're looking at the daily charts, we're looking at the monthly charts, if we're looking at the 1 minute charts, these types of patterns always occur. And so there's a couple of them that, some general things that I want to discuss. One is there are reversal patterns. And there are continuation patterns. Now, it should be fairly obvious what each one of these does. The one reverses the direction of the trend, and the other continues the direction of the trend once it's made its pattern. Now, regardless of whether it is a continuation or a reversal pattern, these patterns are based off of two things. One, the trend, and two, support or resistance. So, for example, there is a reversal pattern called a head and shoulders. And this is an example of a head and shoulders. So we have a shoulder here, we have a head here, and we have a shoulder here. Basically, the pattern, if we draw it out, something is trending down, forms a shoulder, then a head, then a shoulder. And when it starts to move up in reverse past what we call the neckline, we're going to look for an opportunity to see the market reverse. So here we've got the shoulder, the head, the shoulder, that's developed. When it moves above the neckline, we're looking for the price to reverse and move back up again. So that's an example of a reversal pattern. Now, what it does is it looks at the trend. So the trend is moving down here. And then it looks for support or resistance. So here's some support or resistance in these areas here. Now there's other types of patterns that are reversal, such as double tops or triple tops. So if we look at, for example, just drawing these out, and these can be topping patterns or bottoming patterns. Some people call this an M pattern. So that if the trend was moving up here, it forms 1, 2, and then when it moves below here, we'd look at that as a confirmed pattern. We could have a third head here, or a third top, which would be a triple top. And then a break below that would be an area where we would consider the market as reversing. So resistance, support. So that's one type. Now, another type is the continuation. And the continuation pattern is going to continue that trend. And so a common one that we can talk about is a flag pattern or a triangle pattern where the price is moving down and then it starts to move kind of counter to this, forming what looks like a flag. Again, resistance, support, downtrend. When it breaks below that, we'd anticipate a continuation of that trend. So let's see if we can find something here that looks like it might show that in an example. So I'm going to go over to here, and we're going to look at this as a possible flag. So we have a move up, we have our flag, and we have our breakout. Again, we're simply looking at resistance and support. Again, patterns happen all the time. Here, potentially could have been a double top up at the top, move down below here. Let's see if it actually finally broke through. So it finally broke down from there. And so as we look to identify these patterns, we can get a sense of whether something is getting ready to continue to move up or to reverse based off what we see happening. And again, we don't have to be professionals at identifying these, but as we look at the market and as we look at the individual things that we're trading, if we can identify those areas, we're going to be okay. Now remember, the pattern that we're looking for is this type of pattern here, where the trend is down, we get a reversal, and it moves below the LL3 or the HH3 if it's an uptrend. So take some time to review that. Understand that there are different patterns that we can look for, and as we look at the market, overall, we can get a sense of whether or not we should be planning on the market continuing or reversing. If you have questions about that or anything else, feel free to let me know. If not, have a great weekend, everybody, and we'll be back on Monday to continue to look for things on the simple trading method in order to trade. So have a great day. Thanks.